There are two types of men in this world. The first type tries to earn affection. He's the one who always initiates. He praises her, organizes the plans, tries to make her happy. He follows all the rules. Yet despite his efforts, she withdraws. Not because he wasn't genuine, but because kindness without strength doesn't ignite desire, it breeds familiarity. And familiarity fades quickly. The second type of man is something else entirely. He doesn't chase attention. He doesn't feel the need to validate himself. He becomes the magnetic pole that everything revolves around. He doesn't attract her through actions, but through essence. Calm, intentional, grounded, without uttering a word, he embeds himself in her memory. So what sets these men apart? It's not their bank account's appearance or luck. It's the intangible qualities, subtle psychological cues and inner signals that most men overlook, but men of true value embody naturally. In this guide, you won't just learn how to capture a woman's interest. You'll learn why some men become unforgettable, even in silence. You're about to explore 5 distinct traits that emotionally tether a woman to your presence, and you'll learn to live them with quiet strength and thoughtful precision. If you make it to the end, this won't just shift your conversations with women, it'll transform the energy you carry around them. Because once you master how genuine masculine presence moves you, don't pursue, explain, or ask to be accepted. You become the man she can't look away from, the one her mind replays, the one her body remembers. Let's dive in. Trait 1, emotional discipline that earns respect. Many men believe expressing emotions means being authentic. They assume that by sharing their feelings and responding passionately, they'll be appreciated for being vulnerable. But that's not how it works. Obsession isn't born from emotional exposure, it's built through emotional composure. A woman doesn't obsess over the man who reacts. She's drawn to the one who feels deeply, but never wavers. Machiavelli said a wise man acts immediately while a fool delays. Translation: the man who stays composed and decisive while others flail in emotion becomes the leader and the one who endures. The fool breaks down first, then processes. The wise one sees the storm, reads it, and moves with calm precision. Here's how this looks in real life. She gives you attitude. She's vague. Replies slowly. Maybe questions your tone. She's testing your stability. Most men fail. They send wordy, needy text. Use awkward emojis. Talk too much. Try solving problems that haven't even formed, but a high-value man doesn't play into the flames. He contains the spark, never letting it consume him. Here's your move. Next time she retreats, don't advance. Don't chase her vibe. Don't dig for explanations. Let your stillness say what your words don't have to. Don't mold your demeanor to match her mood. Instead, refocus on your purpose. Train, build, stay on task. Let her witness that your emotional stability is unshakable. Because the man who doesn't seek peace becomes the calm she longs for. Let's dig deeper. The next trait doesn't just inspire respect, it triggers obsession through something far more potent: mystery. Trait 2, mystery that ignites her imagination. What remains hidden holds more influence than what is openly shared. Predictable men are safe but easily forgotten. Mysterious men linger in her mind. They stay alive in her imagination long after they've walked away. And it's not about being aloof or emotionally unavailable. It's about being unreadable in a world overflowing with oversharers. As Machiavelli once wrote, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few truly know what you are. He wasn't suggesting deception. He meant you should reveal just enough to intrigue, but never enough to be figured out. Because when a woman believes she fully understands you, she defines you. But when she senses something she can't quite explain, that's when fascination begins. Imagine this scenario: she texts, "What are you doing tonight?" The average guy responds like a checklist: just watching Netflix, grabbing dinner, maybe heading to the gym. He thinks he's being relatable, but to her it's bland, predictable, nothing to stir curiosity. Now picture how the magnetic man responds. "Got a few things planned. What about you?" It's vague yet believable, focused yet open. And right then her imagination kicks in. Because mystery doesn't confuse her. It awakens her. Here's a small but game-changing shift: speak less than you know. Share less than you feel. Let your behavior suggest more than your words ever could. This isn't about manipulation. It's about living a life so purpose-driven that she's drawn into your orbit naturally. Because when a man is balanced, determined, and slightly unreadable, she's not chasing explanations, she's chasing you. Now let's go further. Even mystery needs a strong core beneath it. And that brings us to the next quality, the one that transforms mere attention into lasting respect. Trait 3, unshakable emotional presence. Especially in group settings, there's a subtle strength most men overlook. It's not about how you treat her in private, it's how you move through the world, especially when all eyes are on you. Women don't just fall for the man who's kind behind closed doors. They become captivated by the man who carries presence under pressure. It's not about being loud, it's about being unmovable. Machiavelli once observed, nothing is more crucial than appearing to hold powerful traits, even when you don't yet fully possess them. In both politics and love, perception equals influence. Here's how this principle applies in real life. You're out with her, maybe at dinner at a social gathering, or just out in public. Someone throws a passive-aggressive jab. The energy shifts. Tension rises. She looks to you without saying a word, wondering, will he stay composed or will he crack? The average guy reacts emotionally. He gets defensive. He overcompensates. He seeks approval through reaction. She might smile to keep the moment civil, but inside her attraction fades. Now flip the script. You remain composed. You don't over-explain. You let the tension breathe. And when you do speak, it's brief, composed, and confident. No bravado, no desperation, just centered presence. Here's the move. In high-pressure moments, especially when tension surfaces, avoid the impulse to defend. Don't respond to every provocation. Use silence as a strategic tool. Be the calm center, not the surrounding chaos. Because the man who holds space without trying to control it becomes memorable, not just to her, but to everyone around. Now let's go further. The next trait doesn't just shift how she views you, it affects how deeply she feels you, even when you're not physically there. Trait 4, intentional polarity, the masculine tension that drives female fixation. Men who tone themselves down to seem safe often lose both their spark and her attraction. Because women aren't drawn to comfort, they're magnetized by contrast, the interplay of fire and stillness, command, and mystique, intensity, and restraint. Most men misunderstand this. They assume vulnerability means crying beside her, constantly explaining themselves, or apologizing for every emotional ripple. But here's the reality. If you enter her emotional storm without grounding, you'll be consumed by it. Centuries ago, Machiavelli gave us the blueprint. One must be a fox to recognize snares and a lion to scare off the wolves. In relationships, that translates to this. You need the foresight to recognize emotional tests and the strength to remain steady through them. Here's how this manifests. She gets emotional, accuses you of being distant, tells you she doesn't feel understood. Maybe she cries or raises her voice. And in that moment, most men falter. They rush to apologize, say whatever it takes to soothe her, not because they lack care, but because they lack polarity. And here's the K: when you crumble in the face of her emotional storm, she doesn't feel reassured, she feels unsupported. Not emotionally, but energetically. She doesn't want you to join her chaos. She wants to feel your stillness inside it. So here's what to do moving forward. When she's emotional, stay anchored. Let her speak. Let her feel. Let her vent. But don't mirror the storm. Don't justify yourself. Don't chase after calm. Say less and let your grounded presence speak volumes. Breathe slower. Speak with a calm, low tone. Let her come to the realization on her own time that she's safe. Not because you yielded, but because you remained unshaken. Because when she senses your masculine calm amidst her emotional chaos, that's when she begins to soften. Not from reasoning, but from instinct. And that instinct, it plants the seed of obsession. Let's transition to the final trait, the one that makes all the others endure, not just for a moment, but for a lifetime. Trait 5, detachment from outcome. The silent strength that makes her pursue. The more you try to secure her affection, the more uncertain she becomes. Women don't fixate on the man who clings. They become drawn to the one who can genuinely walk away and mean it. Because real obsession doesn't grow from control. It comes from emotional sovereignty, the clarity that you don't need her yet, you choose her. Machiavelli once cautioned, he who builds on the people builds on mud. In relationships today, that means this: if your self-worth depends on her validation, Your confidence will collapse the moment she withdraws. Let's bring this to life. You meet someone you're genuinely into. Things click, energy flows. Conversation is easy. Then suddenly she changes. Her messages slow down. Her energy shifts. She says she's unsure. Panic sets in. You try to fix it. You over-explain. You send paragraph texts hoping she'll see your sincerity. But here's the overlooked truth. The moment she senses you're afraid to lose her, that's when she starts pulling away. Now imagine this response instead. She says, "I'm not sure how I feel anymore." And you reply, grounded and unbothered, "Take all the time you need. I know what I want. And either way, I'll be good." You didn't plead. You didn't bend. You didn't scramble to pull her back in. That shift in energy, it hits deeper than 1,000 sweet words. Because she realizes something powerful. You're not trying to win her. You've already claimed yourself. Here's the move you can start practicing today. Let go of the outcome. If she reaches out, great. If not, your momentum doesn't stall. No hesitation, no spiraling, no emotional dependence. Let this be your baseline. I want you, but I'll never beg to be kept. Because the man who remains unshaken when things get unclear, that's the man she starts to desire, especially when clarity is missing. Now let's bring it all together. You've seen the full picture. And once you realize how these 5 traits intertwine, you'll understand they're not just tools of attraction. They're the foundation of inner mastery. This is the truth most men never realize. Obsession doesn't arise from chasing, convincing, or performing. It's not about gifts, flattery, or constant engagement. It's about presence, poise, power. It stems from something far deeper, something that can't be faked, something she senses before she can even articulate it. It's your presence. It's the way you enter a room without seeking attention, the way you wield silence like a weapon, the way your aura speaks volumes before your mouth does. That calm force, steady, immovable, unmistakable. Machiavelli may never have written on seduction, but he understood the essence of power, and obsession is emotional power. He taught that control isn't enforced through dominance, but through perception, posture, and calculated strategy. He reminded us men are judged more by what's seen than by what's done, because everyone watches but few truly understand. And that's what makes her obsessed. Not what you do, but the energy that leaves her wondering why. Not what you say, but the silence that follows. Not how much you give, but the emotional depth she can't quite read. So here's the principle to remember. Be emotionally untouchable. Let no shift in tone, silence, or emotion destabilize your core. Nurture your mystery. Speak less. Disclose less. Let curiosity trail you like a shadow. Stay mission-focused. Your path is sacred. Never compromise it for attention. Keep your masculine polarity intact. Be the calm in her chaos, the sharpness in her softness. Release attachment to outcomes, but protect your standards. Desire her, but never depend on her. And never accept less than you truly deserve. Because when these traits become who you are, not an act, not a mask, but a way of living, she doesn't just see you. She doesn't just respect you. She feels you. In her thoughts, in her body, in her stillness. Even when you are not there. That's how obsession starts. Not from seduction, but from essence. Not through noise, but through quiet gravity. You weren't made to be liked. You weren't made to seek validation. You were made to be chosen by purpose, by life, by those who recognize strength by how it makes them feel. So stay sharp, stay rooted, stay sovereign, because the man who is the storm never fears the wind. A final message for those ready for real transformation, for the few prepared to rise above the crowd and play a higher level game. What I'm building will change how you're seen and how you see yourself. It's on its way. Stay tuned. If this resonated, don't keep it locked in your head. Drop a comment, even a word. It helps you remember. It could inspire someone else. If this hit home, tap the like. Share it with someone you know needs to hear it. Trust your gut. We're all working to become more grounded, more whole. Let's build minds that don't break.